Good morning, everyone. This is Sakis Paraskevov, fundamental analyst here at IronFX Global, bringing you the morning comment for November 25th. Bank of England Governor Mark Carney and several monetary policy members, including one of the dissenting voters, Ian McCafferty, testified to the Parliament's Treasury Select Committee over their latest economic forecasts. Given the recent mixed messages on the inflation outlook, investors will be trying to decode how dovish the Bank of England really is. The November inflation report showed a significant downward revision of the short-term inflation outlook. The Bank of England members expect inflation rate to fall below 1% within 6 months and then to stay below the 2% target for the next 3 years. On the other hand, the minutes of the bank's November policy meeting revealed that 7 members who voted for the rates to remain on hold had a material spread of views on the balance of risk to the UK's outlook of growth and inflation. While some of those views were focused on the possibility of weaker growth, other monetary policy members mentioned that potential for slag to be eroded faster than currently expected, adding upward pressure on prices. Given these mixed signals by the MPC members, the hearing is likely to elucidate investors on just how dovish the Bank of England really is. I believe that at today's hearing, the Monetary Policy Committee members will probably sound less dovish than they seemed in the November's inflation report and will possibly give more attention on the positive signs over the UK's economic outlook. Even though the latest set of macroeconomic projections have pushed the timing for the first rate hike back, most likely after the general elections in May, today's hearing could strengthen GBP somewhat. Nevertheless, the overall outlook remains to the downside and the rate could test the 1.55 level in the not too distant future. Overnight, Bank of Japan released the minutes of its October 31st meeting, where the board voted to expand monetary policy easing. The minutes show that the 4 Bank of Japan policymakers who opposed to last month's easing did so due to concerns that the further stimulus could hurt the bank's credibility and considered that it was appropriate to maintain the guidance for money market operations as before. On the contrary, Governor Haruhiko Kuroda stressed at a speech today the bank's readiness for further stimulus to meet its inflation target. This is likely to keep JPY vulnerable. Elsewhere, the New Zealand dollar fell after the 2-year inflation expectation dropped to its lowest level since June 2013. This pushed QE down as it shows no urgency for the Reserve Bank of New Zealand to raise rates in the near future. Falling price expectations add to the already poor inflation outlook and would likely keep the New Zealand dollar under selling pressure. In Germany, the final Q3 GDP data confirmed the preliminary growth figure and showed that the German economy grew just 0.1% quarter-on-quarter in Q3, a rebound from 0.1% quarter-on-quarter contraction in Q2. Even though Germany barely avoided slipping into recession, the moderate growth is likely to keep euro under increasing pressure. As for today's activity, in Canada, retail sales for September are expected to rebound from the previous month, adding to the recent positive sentiment over the Canadian dollar and the optimistic outlook of the Canadian economy. In the US, the second estimate of Q3 GDP is expected to show that the US economy expanded at a slower pace than initially estimated. The second estimate of GDP is expected to rise at a 3.3 quarter-on-quarter seasonally adjusted annualized rate pace, a downward revision from the first estimate of 3.5% quarter-on-quarter. The second estimate of the core personal consumption index, the Fed's favorite inflation measure, is forecast to have declined from the Fed's 2% target. For more information, including technical analysis, please read the full commentary on IronFX.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or circle us on Google+, to get more trading ideas. This is Sakis Paraskevov, fundamental analyst at IronFX Global, wishing you solid trading.